love writing coming of age stories. And one of the big things about those is your first love.
Hmm.
And it's but I also like to introduce things of social issue nature, like the my Entangled series. I apologize. My Entangled series. It involves themes such as mental illness and domestic violence and consent and deep issues. But at that core is that relationship. Is the relationship between this boy and this girl who end up really learning how to love one another and love themselves in the process.
Well, that's the thing that's the best. Like, I mean, love is crazy, but we all
Yes.
we all have this tendency to we all want it. You don't choose who you fall in love with. You more often than not, it kind of finds its way to you, and you kind of go, well, this is not who I expected to be loving right this minute, right?
Hmm.
That's very much the thing. And like I remember, like when I like the first I involved love until a little bit later in my life, but it would not like it's not someone I expected, but like that armor just she walked right through it like it wasn't even there, and it was like okay, that was the greatest. It was the
Yes.
biggest roller coasters of my life, and it's also I realized it brought out things in me that I never knew were there. And that's the best thing. That's the
Hmm.
cool thing about love is it forces you to confront. Again, it adds layers to you that you never would find on your own. And I think that's one of the reasons why, as a species, in general, human beings value relationships of all kinds because what tends to happen, whether it's romantic or platonic or whatever the case may be,
Hmm.
that drive for connection is what motivates us to do things. And I find that when you focus on that motivation, when you focus on
Right.
that care, um, that's the heart of not just romance, the genre. That's the heart of most stories. Actually, it's not the trappings. It's that real life relationship stuff
Yes.
that really, really draws you in. One of my favorite quote, urban fantasy slash romance novelists is
Hmm.
Alana Andrews. It's a husband and wife team, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, their husband and wife. The Kate Daniels series is awesome. I think it's a great series. It's not all parts of it were written for me, but it was it's a good bridge series. If someone is, I'm never gonna read an erotica, right, or a full
Right.
blown erotica. It's just not me. But would I read a love story? Yes. Why? Because I've seen how they could be done by someone like Alana Andrews or someone like there
Oh,
are people
yes.
that do that do and the relationship between Kate Daniels and Quran is the foundation of the entire series, and they never deviate from that start to finish. So you get that relationship, you get the courtship, and the fact that how they drive each other absolutely fucking crazy, right?
Yes.
Right? But they also love each other and they build and become stronger when they're together, which is again the ideal. Like when you,
Yes.
I mean, Lord knows we've all made the mistake of thinking anything but our brains when we pick our partners sometimes. Yeah, and the wall of shame right there. You see that walk of shame stories around there. But the thing about that is, okay, we all make those mistakes. I think what happened, and I think that what tends to, um, I think what happens with us is with relationship. This is something I learned with my first relationship. It was a great experience, but I want a different kind of relationship. And then the next relationship I had after that was a different relationship still. And that one, although it was very brief, it was very, I really enjoyed it. And we're still really good friends now. It's just one of those
Hmm.
things where right place, but not quite the right time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, so, but the thing about it is, but that was closer to what I've been looking for. And then the next relationship, whatever that whenever that shows up, or if it right, will be different. And I've learned different things about what I look for in people, but also how
Right.
more importantly, how I want to be treated going forward, because
Uh-huh.
it's not, you gotta like what you see. We all kind of like what we all have to like what we see. But really, what at this point, what I really care about with beyond that vanity is, are you interesting enough that I want to keep talking to you? Are you
There
interesting
you
enough that I want to have fun with you beyond beyond sex? Is there an actual connection,
mm-hmm.
right? Or is it just because if it's a flash in the pan, eh, you know?
So question, do you believe like in love at first sight per se?
I think it's possible. I it didn't quite happen to me when I fell in love,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's someone I liked physically, but I didn't really. It's just one of those things that kind of happened over time. Do I think it's possible I could see somebody as like, and I, when I've been with women, sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
will meet someone and I know there's a connection there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know I can feel that, and they feel it too. It's one of those things that I notice that when you have a connection like that with somebody, it's usually mutual. It's one of the it's very rarely one sided,
Mm-hmm.
um, but you both feel it. Now, what you do with it's another story. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to end up together. What it means is
True.
there's a potential connection, or there's something we both have that we need from each other. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's a full match made. There's so like a relationship. That's the thing about what I've learned about what little I do know about relationships is it's not just about how great you guys get along when things are good. It's also about, do you trust each other enough to be
Oh,
weird?
trust is a big thing. And to be weird, that is fantastic. I love that analogy. I love
Yeah,
it.
well, it's
I
true.
love it.
Look. Kids act out in school, right? And
Yes.
the reason, no thing is, why do kids act out in school? It's not because they sometimes it's about attention, but more often than not, they're comfortable enough in that environment to fully be themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a good thing. That's actually that's a blessing. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Now you might have to discourage certain aspects of that behavior, and that's where being a parent or a teacher comes into play. But when a kid is acting out in your class or in your
Mm-hmm.
home or in wherever they are acting out, they feel comfortable enough to do that. Relationships are like that too. Look, can I be comfortable enough with you to be incredibly silly with you? Yes. I want to be good. I want to be a dork with you because I am a dork and I'm totally good with being a dork. I have to be that. I can't not be myself. And if I'm not comfortable enough to be myself around you, we can't have a relationship. We can be friends maybe, but that, like, in terms of dating, you can't. You just can't. Like, and that's something I've learned really quickly. It's like I'm either going to be completely me and they're going to be okay with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it ain't going to work.
True.
And
I know that, well, with my ex-husband, I met him at work. I it was an office full of women, and this one man was sitting in there, and I was his trainer. And he turned around and said, "How you doing?" I said, "Oh hell," because I knew in that moment. I knew I was done for. Of course, I was done for several years, but that connection, that right away when you're able to be completely yourself and just be as silly or as crazy or as I'm a very quiet, introverted kind of person. And if my silences are comfortable, that's when I know. And if I'm able to really get silly, then I really know.
yes,
Because
because now you're comfortable, like in the best way, like you trust that situation, and
yes.
that's the real secret. It's not like I want to find someone that can torment me a little bit, and someone that I can torment as well, right? There's have to be a mutual give and take there. It can't be just one way. But
Right.
I reckon that, like, again, as I've gotten older slash wiser, we'll find out. Lord knows I'll probably I haven't I like it to be perfectly fair with myself, right? That long I have no idea. Like I'm speaking from a little bit of rose-colored glasses, because like the long-term relationship thing has not really found itself with me to the same degree. But I've realized just watching and observing different things,
Hmm.
that it's not about control.
No,
It's not about the idea in your head. It's more often it
exactly.
right. It's not about that. It's about, can you and that person, no matter who it is, can you be comfortable being yourselves around each other? Can you put up with each other's bullshit? And can you always feel engaged with this person in one way or the other? You don't necessarily, even some days, there are couples I know that don't like each other some days. They don't, but
Yeah.
but again, it's not, it's being, again, learning what I do know about love. Love isn't always
Right.
all the lovey dovey. I love you, and you still
No,
like.
it's not always like that.
Oh God, no! Actually, if I ever hear that, now I know why people cringe when they hear that, because that's not. That's only a very tiny part of how that works.
Yeah.
Um, we
I feel the more that people have to show others that they love this person, the less genuine it is, because it shouldn't be about what you show other people. It's what you show this person that you're with.
absolutely, absolutely, like that's what it's about, and